welcome. It's nice to see you still here. I hope you really enjoyed the 3 days of conference. And today I'm here with Vlad. We're both product manager on Google Cloud Conversational AI. And we're going to introduce you to the new features that we are launching as part of Vertex AI Search and Conversation. So we'll go to some background on generative AI, and then we'll do some live demos to show you all these new features. And we will have two special guests, Pieter from ING and Omar from Six Flags, that will share with you their stories and how they use the generative AI features from Google Cloud to achieve their own goals. And now I will pass it to Vlad to give you the intro.
Thank you so much, Solène. So hi, I'm Vlad. I had a chance to work in conversational AI since several years, starting with the Google Assistant in 2016. And I wanted to start this talk with my personal kind of experience in how during these just few years we totally changed the approach in how we build conversational AI. So when we launched, when we launched the Google Assistant in 2016, like a lot of the real production systems were actually based on what we today could call prehistoric NLU. Basically, we had grammars written by very expensive resources. So those were linguists with PhDs who would also write code, and who would write grammars to kind of encode the language rules to kind of figure out the user intent. And that was like really not scalable. We had to have one of these resources per language. It was slow and not scalable. In the meantime, so the research community has been trying to solve this with deep learning, right? And the first beginning approaches were basically to transform words into embeddings, into vectors, pass them through the deep neural networks, and then transform it into something, for example, other words or some labels, right? And if we wanted to run full sentences through these models, we have systems like recurrent neural networks, where we would basically pass one word at a time through these models, and then basically, again, transform into other sentences or other labels. And while the systems, had some initial success, they actually had two huge problems. They were very slow because of the nature of running them sequentially. And then also they were like very poor learners. They suffer from problems like vanishing gradients, where we're trying to kind of teach them a lot of data. And then literally, everything changed overnight when this paper was published. This was in 2017 by a bunch of Googlers. That introduced, the transformer architecture. And the transformer architecture had like really several almost magical properties, like incredible properties, right? First of all, this model was super expressive. It could express many possible algorithms very efficiently. Then it was like an incredibly good learner. It could learn really well from a lot of data. And then lastly, it kind of processes information in parallel, and it allows us to kind of run it super efficiently on the best hardware that we have, right? So we basically achieved like orders of magnitude of improvement in terms of computation. And it was like such an impact, this paper, that it was selected by Nature as the fourth most kind of impactful paper over the whole science, on the span for 15 to 20. And if we look in the past 3 years, what happened after that, actually, that might have been an understatement. So the next kind of huge improvement came just the year after, again in Google, with BERT. Where basically the BERT researchers figured out that instead of using the usual machine learning methods where we would kind of prepare a bunch of training data and then train the system, right? We actually could use, as these systems process text, like large chunks of text and produce text, we actually could use a trick and then like use any article, on Wikipedia or any piece of text and just pretend that we don't know a certain word, right? And then we say, hey model, try to guess this word. But in reality, we do know the word, we know the original text, so we can actually use it to then tweak the model parameters, right? And using this trick, we could then, teach, these models with basically the whole human knowledge once we had, scale enough parameters. And this was like hugely impactful. A couple of things kind of came out of that. Like one is that, when we were pre-training these large models with so much data, they ended up being extremely useful out of the box, right? So these parameters that we used after pre-training were actually, very useful per se. And not only that, but actually we figured out that you can use them as a starting point to train downstream, to fine-tune downstream your further systems, right? So these were like the two, I think really the two biggest innovations that came out over these 2 years in Google. And then, those two innovations gave us like some capabilities that were like totally elusive to our community, trying to build conversational applications in the years previous to that. So in particular, the transformer architecture finally, and the way it's trained, kind of finally could really understand context, right? Like understand sentences, understand sequence of sentences. That was very, very hard to do before. Also, it could generate and predict content, and for the way it was trained, it could actually capture a lot of the world knowledge and actually even some common sense. And if we go like one step further, once you can understand context and text and you can produce and answer something appropriately, you can actually do human dialogue, right? And then the other thing is that, because of the nature of kind of generating and predicting content, with some new tricks that we added of how we train these models, like, chain of thoughts and things like that, we were able to increasingly create models that not only can, understand and predict, but can also actually solve problems. So now if you think about it, like, if we have like a component that can do dialogue and we are able to creatively solve problems, those are really the key ingredients to create a really capable assistant that can help through conversation users to achieve their goals, right? And this is like, like all of these properties are fully new. Like we were trying to get to something like that for many years. That was like, very, very hard. Suddenly we had, all of that increasingly over time, over the past years. However, before we can, really run these, properties and use them in real production systems with real users, we had to solve some additional problems. So these models are predictive engines, so sometimes they make up information. If you just use them out of the box without additional, systems around them, it's easier to get really good quality with, like huge models, but sometimes it's not practical because you want some cost and latency as well, that you can afford. And then on the developer experience side, developers want more control. They just don't want just a black box. They throw everything out, on, and then they just hope for the best. They want more control. Also, they want the ability to kind of handle complexity and scalability. Once they start adding a lot of use cases that, these agents needs to do, they don't want these various use cases to kind of interfere with each other, right? But to scale well. And then they want the ability to kind of, to be able to fix problems. So where they identify a problem, they want to be able to fix it, to fix a whole family of problems. So next time the system is better, right? It's called kind of hill climbing. And then obviously, this new system as well, had to kind of respect privacy, security, and compliance, right? So basically, what our goal is to give everybody, to give enterprises around the world a platform that is safe, compliant, and guarantees that your data stays yours, right? That gives you the ability to very easily, in few steps, create very powerful conversational applications, but also gives you the ability to then tune it and kind of customize it where you want or need, right? So this is what we are building with the conversational AI, Vertex AI, giving you systems that are able to, answer complex queries, but answering it from your data and grounding in your data. Able to generate additional content from its knowledge, or starting from your data and then transforming it further, right? But also able to kind of, go and complete tasks on behalf of the user and transact to your, using your APIs to your systems. So how do we do that? We do that by basically building the full platform, right, in several layers on top of each other, right? So we start with the Google Cloud infrastructure. On top of that, you have the model garden, where you get access to the best Google models and the best open source models. Then we have the AI layer, the Vertex AI platform layer, that allows you to, to tune and distill these models and kind of make them like even more customized to your needs and your enterprises. On top of that, we are adding a layer that allows you to really connect to your systems, right? So the first is data connectors. That basically allow you to kind of connect the agent to your data, to your websites, to your documents, to your databases and so on. And so that basically the agent is able to search in real time and get the data necessary to continue the conversation and answer their questions. We are adding extensions, as you have seen in the keynote, where basically now you can also use the agent to communicate with your APIs and with your systems, right? And then grounding, super important, because you want the systems to be grounded in your data and factual. And on top of that, we are adding the conversational AI layer, right? That allows you to build these conversational applications, and also like some features where you can put the control that you want, as you will see in a moment. Okay, so here is basically like one example of how you can build an application in 3 easy steps, right? With some new features that we are bringing. So the first one, you just connect it to your data, right? So basically you can connect it to documents, to like your whole domain, your websites that you want, or some other systems, as we said before, some databases that you have, or third-party systems like Jira, Confluence, or whatever you have, right? And then suddenly, like almost out of the box, you have a bot or an agent that is able to query all of these data, search for for the relevant parts in the data in real time, get it back to the agent, to the model, right, and then answer appropriately to the user questions. Then next, you can add extensions. You can configure the existing ones, or you can add your own, so the system, the large language model can suddenly talk to your APIs, right? And then the last thing is a new feature that we are introducing to allow you to have control over how certain tasks and subtasks are executed. This is very important. Basically, like we are introducing this feature where you can specify step by step how you want certain tasks to be executed. So now Solène will show us how that works in practice.
Thank you, Vlad. So if you attended the keynote 2 days ago, you remember that Nisha had walked you through the setup of a search app for the DMV website. So today we're going to do it again, but for a chat app. So let's see how it works. We are on the app builder here. I'm going to create a new app. So this time, Vladimir, I need.
Okay.
Cool. So you just missed one screen, but now you see it. We're going to choose the conversation app. So I'm going to give it a name, the DMV chatbot. I enter the name of my company, state DMV. Here I have a bunch of options to make sure out of the box I get knowledge from my own data, from the model knowledge, and connection to the Vertex AI extensions. Now I have the skeleton of my app. I can do a few things. First, I want my chatbot to be able to find answers within my own data. So I have a bunch of options. I can connect a website, I can connect unstructured data from BigQuery or Google Cloud Storage, and soon you will be able also to connect data from your own services, so third-party services that you used internally, such as Jira, Salesforce, to be able for the chatbot to find answers on this content. So here I'm going to add the website. And what will happen under the hood is like enterprise search will index this website to be able for the large language model to use the search results to provide an answer. So now I gave it some data. I will also enable the default Vertex AI extension so the bot can be smarter when the bot accomplishes some tasks. And the last feature that I wanted to show you in this builder is this new playbook feature, where basically you can describe instructions in a natural language way for the bot to be able to complete some tasks. So you don't even need, to code it. You will just, so here I will show you an example for all the tasks related to driver license. You just explain very simply what the chatbot has to do, which information they have to ask, and which API they have to use to complete some actions. So now let's see it in action, how it works on my website. So I added the chatbot on the DMV website. I'm going to ask the chatbot to some help to renew my license. So the bot understands my request, asking me if anything has changed. Yes, actually, I moved. Okay, now it's telling me that I need actually to book an appointment and asking me where I want to go. So I live in Los Gatos. So now the bot is going to check on the DMV internal resources for availability. So that's what I described in the playbook. And it's like suggesting a few appointments. I'm going to choose the 2:30. And then we're going to call different extensions for the bot to be able to create an event in my calendar, generate a summary with the LLM, and send an email to my Gmail account so I can not forget this appointment. I'm all set. So you've seen like one aspect of this chatbot. I'm going to show you a second one because this time I want to actually find a bit more information that will be found on the website. So for instance, I don't know if I actually, do I need a motorcycling license for my Vespa? So this is, info seeking queries. The bot is going to look on the website for an answer because I previously ingested this website. And now the bot is also going to automatically give me an answer, so a quick summary with a link, with a citation of where this information was found on the website. And also here I got this super cool interaction where I'm redirecting on the right page so I can verify the information. So actually, I don't know the size of the engine, but I know that I have a Primavera Vespa. So now the bot understands the context of the conversation, that I'm still asking about my Vespa, but I have a Primavera. And the bot in that situation couldn't find the information directly on the website. So the bot was looking for information on the LLM self-knowledge and provide me with some information about different Primavera Vespa. So that's it. And I think we all agree that this is, both as a bot builder and as an end user, the experience that we want to have. And this is now possible with the new Vertex AI search and conversation.
Go back. Okay, so in case you are a Dialogflow user and you're wondering, what is happening with Dialogflow, so we are bringing all of these features also to Dialogflow, and you can basically extend your existing bots and agents that you have there with using these features. Solène will do a demo on that, or build new bots, merging the best of both worlds. Where you have like the full control of Dialogflow, and then also certain parts that you can design in the generative way. So Solène will go through that. We are adding these 3 new features: answer from content, generative responses and playbooks, and I think it's best to see it in action directly. So please, Solène.
Thank you. So can we switch to the demo? Thank you. So, as a new product manager for all these features on Dialogflow, when we launched them in preview 2 months ago, I was inundated with feature requests, questions from customer engineers, bugs, of course. So I wanted to build a bot that helped me to manage all this volume of queries. And so I built Felix with all these new features, and today I'm going to show you both how Felix helped me to do this, and also how we built Felix with the generative features on Dialogflow. So let's start with something, just easy. Hi there. So now I get this, answer, which is actually a response that I wrote on Dialogflow. So this is no LLM. This is kind of, the old way of building a bot, where based on some training phrases, you get a response. So you can see that this is the exact response here. So now if I go a bit, outside of these training phrases and I say, hi there, my name is Solène. I get a different answer. But Felix is even telling me, hi, Solène. This is not the same response. This is like a response generated by the LLM, because for this feature, I just use opt-in for the generative fallback. Here, you will see it. I just opt in for generative fallback, which means that if it goes outside of the training phrases, we'll let the LLM generate a nice and contextual answer. So now let's see how actually Felix can help me for customer engineers to find answers on the Gen App Builder. So how to build chatbot with App Builder. So now Felix is giving me a summary of the instructions to build a chatbot that you can see here, just in a few steps, as well as a link, which is again the citation that was used to generate the answer. So I have a grounded answer based on my own data. And how did I do this in Dialogflow? I just connected to like the data store feature, my own website that was, ingested the same way that we did it for the DMV website. I did it here for this documentation website. So this is super easy. This comes just out of the box. Now I want Felix to do even more. Can you write code? Great, Felix can even write code. So what about you write code to upload files to a Google storage bucket? Cool, Felix is like giving me the exact codes to do this. How does it work? So I used the generator features, which is a new feature on Dialogflow, which basically will be triggered by a fulfillment. And here you can see that I just wrote a simple prompt that the LLM will use every time I say write code with a few parameters to make sure that the LLM knows about the context of the conversation. That's the generator feature. Super cool, right? And now I will show you the last feature, which is basically what we showed previously with the playbook that you can also do on Dialogflow. So, I wanted to also make sure that Felix can help me to manage all the feature requests and create tickets directly on our own system. So I wrote a simple playbook to capture all the feature requests. So I didn't need to code anything. I just write a list of instructions with the parameters and how to connect it to our own system. And now let's see how it works. So I want to file a feature request. So then Felix will follow this list of instructions, asking me what the name of the feature request, comparison table. I want actually the LLM to generate table to compare products. Asking me why this is critical, because DMV customer needs it now. And just asking me about my email address. And now the feature request will be sent directly to our internal system. We still have to prioritize the request and make sure we implement it, but this really helped me to kind of gain productivity. So you can do all of this with now the App Builder and Dialogflow.
Okay. So far we talked only about chat experiences, but conversational AI is more than that. It's also about voice, right? And even more than just voice. So Google has been investing in voice experiences since many years. And in particular, voice basically means two things. It means understanding when somebody's speaking and then being able to produce human-like voices on the other end. So in terms of understanding the users, we have the newest USM models that can understand, transcribe hundreds of languages. And also, Google is investing in this project to actually go way beyond that and understand thousands of languages in actually like a superhuman way, because it understands like even in noisy environments across like so many languages, right? In terms of kind of language production, so once we have kind of like the answer from the agent in text, we want to say to the user in a voice that is sounding as natural as possible. So this is also like something very important where we have been investing a lot. And let me show you a couple of improvements. So one of the features that we have is basically the ability, to kind of create a custom voice. So we just need a few minutes of a recording of an actor, and then we can create a voice that is identical to that of the actor that can say anything, right? So here's an example. So we have created a custom voice, and then after that, we have a new sentence that wasn't part of the training, and we let it kind of read out both the bot and the human. And I want you to try to guess which one is bot and which one is human, okay? How do I? It's there, okay. Okay, let's understand.
Amsterdam, everyone's strengths came together. It began with a broken funk pattern from the piano, and the horns ran harmonized chromatic lines through it.
So this was the first one. This is the second one.
In New Amsterdam, everyone's strengths came together. It began with a broken funk pattern from the piano, and the horns ran harmonized chromatic lines through it.
So what do you think? Which one? The one on the left, the one on the right? So who is for the one on the left? Who is for the one on the right? It's half-half. So I need to be honest, I forgot. Because we changed these slides so many times, I really forgot. I can figure it out with headphones, like when I really listen, but yeah. Anyway, so this is one way, but it's still to kind of sound really natural, right? But on top of that, what we also want sometimes is to kind of infuse emotion that we want into the language. So here is a couple of just examples of how we can basically say something with different emotions. So this is like a casual voice that you can say something, right?
Account balance is $92.50.
This is like perfect, kind of like a bored agent in a contact center. This is like a more lively, if I want, this great for marketing, for example.
This is a very exciting time to be working on artificial intelligence.
Right. Or, if you want something more firm, then you can use this.
However, it is important that we take our time to make sure the work we are doing is safe and ethical.
Authoritative, right? And my favorite is the apologetic voice.
Unfortunately, we can't give you any more discounts.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So I'll skip actually in order to make time. So the other kind of feature, is like voice is great, but sometimes it's really, really hard to get everything via voice. Like there's certain information that's just like so much easier to either input or understand if there is an image in between, right? Or there is the textual input interface. So we're launching as well a call companion feature that basically is a companion to the voice conversation with a user. And Solène can play a video. Oops, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so we couldn't do it live because of the across the room, so we prepared a video for you.
Hi, I am the Google Call Companion Insurance Agent. How can I help you?
My car had an accident.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Before we continue, is everyone safe? I'm relieved to hear that everyone is all right. Would you like me to help you file an insurance claim for the incident?
Yes.
I would be happy to help. Let's get started. Can you please enter the account number for your insurance policy? Thank you. I was able to locate the account. The policy owner is listed as Jane Smith. The vehicle on record is a 2022 Futura Impreza. There is a collision liability limit of $50,000 and a personal liability limit of $100,000. Does this sound correct?
Yes.
On what date did the incident occur?
Today.
I will enter the date as the 30th of August 2023. What was the city and state where the incident occurred? Thank you. I will record the location as San Francisco, California. Did the incident occur in your Futura Impreza? Thank you for confirming. This is the first of 3 questions I'll need to ask about the incident. Was this a single car or multi-car accident? Got it. Were there any passengers in your car at the time?
No.
Finally, were you issued a ticket on the scene?
No, I wasn't.
Can you please upload a photo of the damage? Photo received. I appreciate your patience during this process. The claim has been filed and you will be contacted by a representative to follow up within 48 hours. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No.
Thank you again for contacting us. Have a great day.
So this was an example of what you could build with Code Companion, including some natural cues like the ability to use both the visual interface as well as voice.
I think we're done, right? Yeah. So thank you so much. This was our part. So now we would like to invite our dear customers to tell their experience using the products.
I'm Pieter from ING. I'm very excited to be here. I'll give a quick explanation about why we do what we do in the contact centers today, and then a small demo, thank you, on the initiatives that we're taking together with Google. So within ING, I think for the people who don't know ING, we're a bank with a mostly European footprint. We have about 37 million customers, 10 retail countries, and then we're also active wholesale banking and other activities. We're active in many different languages, which is very relevant for our testimonial here today. As a bank, we focus a lot on providing a superior customer experience, making it fast, personal, easy, and relevant. We are NPS, we're the highest NPS in 5 out of 10 retail markets, and we're investing a lot in that. We also have a very strict cost discipline. There's a bit of an echo. Am I the only one hearing that? There's a very strict cost discipline in our operations and in our contact centers. We've set ourselves a goal to reduce incoming contacts by 30% by 2025. Now, how do we do that? We have a lot of focus on bringing digital services through our mobile app. We promote chat as a preferred channel. So there's a lot of chat automation, chatbots happening there. And for all the human interactions, of course, we do want to keep the emotional connection with our customers. It's very important to us, also towards that NPS again. But we want to do that in a scalable way. And there, becoming language agnostic is quite important to us. So in terms of transformation drivers that are enabling that, we see first-time right responses, reducing on the training time. Sometimes we're up to 20% of agent time today that it gets invested in training. And we want to increase on the quality and the consistency of the advice and information that is given to our customers. We have already pretty large chatbots deployed in multiple countries. We've been working with Dialogflow for more than 3 years now. So we were looking for an enterprise-grade partner that could indeed allow us to scale rapidly across our markets. And we're doing that today. But what we've seen is that we're hitting a certain plateau. We have bots that far out that go above 1,000 intents easily. And so we're looking for new ways that helps us to both increase deflection rates with our bots, but at the same time, enable us to speed up deployment of bots when we enter into new markets. And then the third one, it's what I just mentioned. We do want to make sure that when we are contacting customers, that we can do that in a language agnostic way, because that way we can scale our contact centers across the globe. If one in Belgium is occupied, that someone from the Netherlands or elsewhere can take over. Now, getting to the gist of it, what are we doing today? There's a lot of things happening within ING, but we focus a lot on 2 initiatives. The first one is the Agent Assist. So what happens is there is a chat agent that gets support from a tool. That tool listens in to the chat. The chat agent injects a query into the Agent Assist tooling and then gets the response. I'll quickly show how it works. So what happens is the chat agent chooses the language, injects the question, and then we have a couple of knowledge bases in there. Those go from web pages to training material to other types of templates. And then every time we have the URL, we have the reference to where, what document is it found. And we actually monitor two things. So you see at the right-hand side, you saw two things. You saw one, did we find the correct resource? And two, was the answer that was generated the correct answer? So meaning, was it useful? Were you able to inject it back into the chat towards the customer? Today, we have, so we're live with that. And we're improving performance as we go. So we were at 36 on average. We're way up on web pages. We're way down on PDFs, but we're in the midst of fixing that. So now we're at 50%, where we can just do like the generated response and inject that back. Yeah, and we're striving to be, by the 4th of October, that's my birthday, on the level of 90%. That's the objective that we've set out for ourselves. And we're confident that we will make that happen as well. So this is where we are today. There's a couple of improvements that we want to have. We want to make it, as we said, language agnostic. So French operator, Dutch customer, that we can fulfill that journey with some translation. Is it LLM? Is it the Google Translate in between? We're playing with that as we speak. We want to make sure that we generate an answer out of all the different knowledge bases into one answer. And there's a couple of improvements that we're working on together with Google, and we're very much looking forward to those. And then very quickly, because I only have 5 minutes, but I could probably talk about this one for an hour, is that we're also fully testing now in Sandbox our generative AI chatbot. This one is launched in the Dutch market, and or will be launched in the Dutch market as soon as we are confident. So it's clearly mentioned here within risk appetite. We're a bank, so we have 13 factors against which we're currently constantly evaluating, continuously improving our guardrail mapping. We have LLMs testing, a second LLM testing against hallucination. We have LLMs checking, don't we give any advice around investments, which we're not allowed to do through these channels. Is the right tone of voice there, etc., etc. So we're making big steps there. It looks very promising. We haven't launched just yet, but we're quite close. Voilà. So with that, I'll hand over to Omar from Six Flags. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for your time. My name is Omar Amran. I'm the Chief Digital Officer for Six Flags. And before starting, I want to thank the Six Flags team, Jody, Patrick, Steve, a lot of the people who worked really hard to make what I'm about to talk about happen. And I also want to thank the Google team, Lionel, Cam, Aaron, so many great people who made this happen. And also a company called Fueled who helped design the front end also of the Conversational AI chatbot. Now, Six Flags is a fun company, so let's have some fun. Thank you very much.
It's all about where you going, no matter where you live.
Who likes roller coasters here? Raise your hands. That's amazing. It's almost everybody. So let's put some numbers about what Six Flags is. Six Flags is the largest regional theme parks with 27 parks spread in North America, and it's the largest water park operator also in the world. We have more than 20 million visitors that come to our park every year. 70% of them are in 6-hour driving distance to one of the parks. And then we have also many parks with beautiful animals. And one interesting fact that you might not know, Six Flags has the biggest safari outside of Africa. And it's actually located in one of our parks in New Jersey. Now, whenever you talk about digital transformation across Six Flags, it's actually more than just a website or maybe an app. It's all across Six Flags. So from the rides and roller coaster, from your experience at the ride, that will change through digital transformation, how you visualize it, how you experience it, how you listen to it. The food and beverage, how you order food instead of waiting in line from your app, from a kiosk, how you enter actually the park. We're the first park to now automate the toll plazas. So just put your license plate and then the toll plazas will automatically open for you and you go in. So you wait much less to enter the parks. From parking, security, how you buy your tickets, it's all across. And Six Flags has always been the theme park with the best rides and attraction. And right now we're very much posed to also start leading on innovation across the industry. And in order to do this, we really needed a strategic partner to help us get there. So that's why we partnered, we did a strategic partnership with Google in order to accelerate that. And whenever you're talking about building the theme park of the future, elevating the guest experience no longer starts at the park. The guest experience starts even before coming to the park. Whenever you're online, exploring what you'd like to do, whenever you go to Six Flags, buying your ticket, buying your season pass, going to social media, getting an email, getting an SMS about Six Flags, to entering the park, from your car, entering the toll plaza, to finding the right spot for you, scanning your ticket whenever you come in, getting a flash pass, skipping the lines, ordering food, ordering retail, to even when you leave the park, getting information more about how was your visit. So the key behind it is we would like to make this whole experience personalized. And in order to make it personalized, that's why we also, with our strategic partner with Google, start using Gen AI for it. Now, I want to ask you one question. Who likes to go sometimes to the same restaurant because you know the host or the waiter, and they always take care of you because they know your preferences? Raise your hand. That's exactly it. And that's the opportunity that is in front of you. That's the opportunity that we're also working with Google on it in order to make the whole experience at the park completely personalized. From online, whenever you're shopping, we ask you for your preference, and then we start tailoring the whole experience for you before you go. And then when you come to the park, we're able to navigate you, take you to the restaurants where you like the most, where you don't have allergy to, and the best roller coaster that you would like to enjoy, or family rides. And what right now we're doing with Google is the website and the app. We're both building a chatbot powered by Gen AI in order to be able to elevate the guest experience. And I don't know about the 30%, maybe it's what Pieter said. Same to us, we're going to be able to automate 30% of all the questions that guests will usually ask us online. And what's very important for us as well is that the data is grounded within Six Flags, because we want to always make sure that the guest information is well protected. And being able to use natural language, the chatbot that we used to have used to take us months and months and months to be able to develop and create all those different use cases. And now, with a matter of weeks, we're able to actually have a much better experience and answer most of the questions the guests will ask. Now, one more thing we're working on that we're going to be unveiling soon is also how we can take the personalization to a much higher level by mixing the digital and the physical realms together in order to have a much personalized experience at the park. And that's something that we're going to be releasing soon. That's very exciting. My last message to you is, forget about Six Flags, forget anything. This is an amazing opportunity for you. This is the most exciting time right now on technology. So how can you boost your career? How can you boost your goals? And that's why we selected Google and their cloud technologies. But most importantly, also, whenever you start a strategic partnership with a company, you want to see what values they have. And when we kicked off the meeting with Google many, many months ago about this, they start with their values, which very much aligned with Six Flags values. So that's very important because this is not a one project, this is a complete journey in order to lead innovation in the whole industry. Every object around us has been created by people who were not smarter, but they took the first initiative to go and make it happen. And this is what we're doing here at Six Flags, to lead on innovation, similar to the way we led on the best rides and attractions. And this is an opportunity for all of you. So thank you, and the best is yet to come for everybody. Thank you very much.